Hello, and welcome to Make a Difference, the television show that features the many volunteer opportunities available that truly do make a difference, bringing positive benefits throughout Montgomery County. I'm your host, Lucille Baur. Today we'll be discussing the services and volunteer opportunities of the nonprofit organization Court Watch Montgomery. Serving in the realm of domestic violence crimes, their goal is to reduce intimate partner violence and make sure that victims can connect with vital services that can stop abuse. Welcome back to Make a Difference. I'm your host, Lucille Baur. Joining me today is Laurie Duker, co-founder and executive director of Court Watch Montgomery. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're so glad you're here. Laurie, any person who's going to court, and especially victims of domestic violence, should be able to expect a safe, unbiased, fair environment in our courts. But unfortunately, that hasn't always been the case. Tell us about the mission of Court Watch Montgomery.
Court Watch works hard to reduce domestic violence by expanding justice for victims. We have a lot of great domestic violence laws, but they don't always translate into the protection that victims need. And what you said is exactly right. Every victim, it takes great bravery to come to court. It's a dangerous act. It puts victims at risk. So when they get there, it should be safe and respectful and efficient, and they should get protection that works. And that doesn't happen often enough.
Absolutely. And we know that the heart of your organization would be the volunteers. You have a little bit of an interesting story, and this happens many times for women and sometimes for men, where you, for a period of your life, put your energies, your talents into raising your family. And then you do take some time to volunteer, and maybe eventually you go back or begin a career. Tell us a little bit about your circumstances. You had several professional jobs, but then you took a little break from that, and that helped create Court Watch Montgomery. Tell us about that.
That's right. I took some time off just before my oldest, my daughter, went to college.
As did I, as a matter of fact. Took some time off from
Nice.
work before my son went to college.
Yeah, it's a nice period.
Yeah.
But I did find myself wanting to volunteer because my daughter was off doing other things. And I knew the Montgomery County Volunteer Center is so great. And I was looking at opportunities, and I saw that you could be a court companion for domestic violence victims in court.
And was there a particular reason why that appealed to you?
I have done domestic violence prevention work on and off throughout my career,
Okay.
and have always been interested in it. So I was eager to see what a great county like Montgomery County would do. I expected to see kind of the cream of the crop, the best program there was in the country. And then I quickly became so engaged and interested in the subject, I became a victim advocate full-time for the county.
And again, that was a volunteer position?
That was initially volunteer and then paid.
Moved into paid employment. Okay.
Yes.
And that does sometimes happen when people volunteer. They find out that this is a good path for them, and they do turn it into paid employment.
Exactly.
But continue.
Well, what I saw in court really disturbed me. I loved being an advocate because there's so much you can do to help someone who's been hurt by an intimate partner. You can connect them to services and explain the court process and help them fill out very confusing papers and go with them to court, and even be a physical barrier between them and their abusers, stand in between them during the hearing. But what I couldn't change was what was happening in the courtroom. And too many times a clerk was rude as a victim filed her papers, or the bailiff yelled at a woman with kids, keep those kids quiet, in a rude way that was demeaning, or the judge didn't tell an abuser that he had to surrender his guns, or that it's a crime and you can go to jail if you violate a protective order. So those were systemic issues that that nobody was focusing on. And I just thought somebody had to step out of the day-to-day process and helping individual victims and try to change the way courts are thinking about how they handle domestic violence cases.
So you didn't see anybody else doing that work, so you thought, I can.
I did, because a lot of people are there to help individual victims, but of course they don't want to antagonize judges or might not have time to work on the system.
Right. So now we have Court Watch Montgomery, and obviously this can't be done by a few people. It has to be done by a lot. You're a nonprofit organization, so that means you really depend upon volunteers. About how many volunteers do you use?
Well, we have 70 volunteers right now, but we started with 10. And they are our absolute lifeblood. We wouldn't exist without volunteers. Right. So they do the heart of the work, which is collecting data in domestic violence dockets. They have a 4-page form for every case. And we look at things like where was the child when the incident happened, if there were children? Did the judge treat both parties with courtesy and respect? You know, this is America. Everybody should be treated with respect, and everybody has due process rights, and we want to be sure that that's done across the board.
And now with these volunteers, these types of things can be documented officially, and it could well be that people in the court system are not aware of the impact of what they're doing is having on a victim. You know, it's a busy process. They may be brusque, but particularly a domestic violence victim is extremely sensitive, and so any kind of harshness can really be magnified and very hurtful to them. So now you have the evidence to present to judges, to the workers in the courts, so that they can see what needs to change.
Exactly, and really people from the public hadn't been in those courtrooms in decades, I don't think. And it's easy, it's somewhat like a pilot or a surgeon who has a complicated job but needs checklists to remember to do every single step, because things do fall off the list. Sure. And judges actually have appreciated, on the whole, the feedback, because they never get that. So they were very interested to see, when we do our reports, we just say Judge A, Judge B, Judge C, because we're not about attacking individual judges. We're looking at the system and how it's working. And they love to see their scores.
They appreciate.
Well, they're very interested in how they're doing.
They want to do the right
compared to their
thing.
peers. Yes, and they never see the other courtrooms. So sometimes one judge has a great innovative practice, but the other judges might not know about it. So we can share those good things. We look for both positive, innovative practices and then things that are problems for victims.
And the reports of these volunteers have been able to affect some change. What are some of the changes that through volunteer work you've been able to accomplish?
It's amazing. You know, you just, with so many volunteers going to court, collecting data, we're the only one capturing large amounts of data on what's actually happening in domestic violence courtrooms. So volunteers watched over 600 cases. We could show that 99% of victims were waiting in unsafe hallways where they could be harassed by their abusers. And when we showed that to the court, they went to the state and were able to get more funds for security. And now 100% of victims have a safe place to wait before their hearing starts and while they wait for papers. So it just all accumulates into powerful data that we can share and make a difference.
And so it's very easy for people to take part in this. They know that what they're going to be doing is definitely making a difference, is so meaningful, is life-saving in some cases.
It's definitely life-saving work. Protective orders don't work for everyone, but when they're paired with a safety plan, they're very effective. They stop the violence in about 70% of the cases. So I do think we're saving lives, and we make such good use of our volunteers. One volunteer just said to me, "Oh, you treat us like professionals." We do a lot of training. The court process is fascinating, and there's always more to learn. And there are lots of different ways to volunteer. So it's a terrific group. It's been one of the great joys of my life to meet all these wonderful women and men and students.
That's fantastic, because you can really volunteer at any age.
Absolutely. We have a lot of great interns. It's a great thing for kids in criminology classes or social service or pre-law. It's a great experience to see how courts really work.
So now we've piqued people's interest. So how do they go about this? You have a very easy to navigate website. Tell us about the process to volunteer.
Sure. It's easy to volunteer. As you said, you just go on the website and can fill out a volunteer application or ask for more information, and our volunteer coordinator will connect with you. And then quickly we have a whole team of volunteers that do interviewing, mentoring, training, and you'll meet with a volunteer and hear about the organization, and you'll go to court twice to see what it's like and see if this interests you, and start to learn about the process. And then we have a classroom training, and then we do continuing ed all along the way, because it's a complicated but fascinating process, and the more you know, the more you can do.
Right. So when you go on the website, you really can learn about the organization. It does outline the types of volunteer opportunities that you have. It sort of seemed to me that whatever your skills, you could find a good fit. But are there some particular skills that you really are looking for?
Well, we like to start people off in the courtroom just to really understand with passion why we're doing this and the lack of access to full justice. And for court monitoring, we really look for people who can be calm and very detail-oriented, because the data is everything to us. If we don't have good data, nothing else matters. And we have a lot of checks and careful data system. But for monitors, it's important to be able to sit in court and not throw up your hands when something goes wrong or be visibly disturbed. And the orientation to detail, and being a good team player, because we always do monitoring in teams.
And I was going to say, that's a good point. Some people look for something that they can do individually, and some people really want to be part of a group. So you offer both possibilities, that you can work with others or work independently, right?
Yes, that's right. We also have a large data entry team. So we're monitoring we're collecting data in 1,000 cases a year. Somehow all that rich data has to get into a Excel database so we can analyze it and fill in the public and the courts about what's happening. So we have a terrific data entry team. Some people are more interested in policy, and so volunteers worked hard to, first our volunteers documented in court that we needed a safe visitation center. And then another team of volunteers worked with the county council to explain what we needed and what it would look like, and to get funding. So they're advocacy positions as well.
Oh, I wish we had more time to talk about this. This has just been fascinating. We've had a great discussion today with Laurie Duker about the important services performed by Court Watch Montgomery and the many opportunities for volunteering with this important organization. For information about volunteering with other organizations in Montgomery County, please contact the Volunteer Center at 240-777-2600 or visit their website at www.montgomeryserves.org. Please take some time to see which volunteer positions might be a good fit for you. Any volunteer will tell you it is a great feeling to know that you can make a difference.